Hey, yo, WIP Appeal. We back, baby. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Coach Rita.
Girl.
Big Myron.
I'm here.
The GOAT. Young Trane. Your boy Jess. Good to see you guys again. Myron, how you feeling? You feeling young these days? How the knees holding up?
Knees are jacked up, but I'm feeling good.
Really? Why are you feeling good?
Because I'm balling, I'm golfing, and I'm working. Without pain.
That's a good
I
life.
just got bad knees.
That's blessings.
They don't hurt.
That's a good life.
That's blessings.
Balling, golfing, and working.
Yep.
All right.
Blessings.
That's what's up. Coach Rita.
I'm doing well. Blessed and privileged to be on the sideline for some young ladies doing some great things. So I'm doing good.
How's your early season going over there at OC, Oakland Catholic?
Doing well. Undefeated currently. Got another game this evening, so we'll let y'all know how that goes.
Okay. Who you're playing tonight?
Mount Lebanon.
Good one. Okay, yeah.
Where at?
At Mount Lebanon.
Okay.
A little enemy territory.
So I might stop down there. That's
Well,
down my way.
Come on down. Open
down my
invitation.
All right, Trane, you've been out getting busy with the camera in these streets, man.
Yep.
What you been up to?
Just staying busy, just working.
You was at the Aliquippa game last night?
Mm-hmm.
Myron said we have too much quip on the WIP Appeal podcast.
Quip
Right.
on the whip.
It's almost
Quip
Quip
on
Appeal.
the whip.
Quip
For the
Appeal.
first few weeks. For the first few episodes,
Hey,
Quip
man.
Appeal. That's okay.
You know,
I respect
yeah.
that.
I mean, we
I
go where the
respect that.
talent is at.
We go
You know
where the
what I mean?
champions are.
We go where the champions are, you know?
So that's Snow Rocks territory.
What kind of championship
A lot
they
of
won?
championships. Basketball.
When?
Recently?
States.
When?
Well, it's got to be recently. The
Because-
tradition of history.
Why?
You're
I
talking
gotta be
recent.
recently. Shoot.
How many state championships does Quaker Valley have?
Maybe one.
Maybe one.
For what?
We have maybe 4.
Okay, good
Not
for you.
maybe.
That's
Okay.
cool.
But
That's
For
cool.
what
But on
sport,
this
though?
year,
Yeah, what sport?
Basketball.
Okay.
Just
So,
basketball?
Football.
And
Yeah, we got a
basketball, football.
We got football, we
anything
got-
else.
And we
But
don't want to talk
do
about
we
track.
not-
We got all kind of athletes for
But
track.
like in
and-
recent history.
but recent history's what?
All I know is every
Let's just
time
say
I
that-
went to the
let's-
Stowe Rocks gym or they came to Quaker Valley to play a basketball game, and boys or girls, we gave y'all the business.
So every time I played Quaker Valley in high school, we beat them by 50.
Okay, cool.
What does that mean?
It means that recently
We're talking about
better.
tradition.
It means that right now we're better.
We're talking about tradition.
Okay, y'all have a good tradition.
Traditionally,
This is
yes.
true. This is true. Okay, respect.
Okay. Fair
Trash
enough.
right now, but back in the day, it was good. Yo, you were at signing day yesterday for
Pew, pew,
two
pew.
of the best local athletes at Aliquippa, WIP Appeal. We're going to run with that.
I like it.
Cam Lindsey signed with Pitt, and Brandon Banks
Hey.
signed with my alma mater, Yale University. What was the event like? What was the vibe?
Everyone was happy, for the kids. That's obviously a big step in their life and their career. So, a lot of family, all the friends, whole football team was there. So it was nice, nice to see.
Quick piece of information for signing the national letter of intent. That means you are contractually obligated to go there, and they have to give you the scholarship. It ain't about all these commitments and decommitments. Once you sign, it's a real deal.
Got an agreement.
And it's official, which is an important step. Important thing to know for y'all parents out there. What do you think about a kid from Quip? What do you guys think about a kid from Quip going to Yale?
Go ahead.
I love it. Because I think, again, for communities that, depending on what their trajectories are, if it's sports and if it's school, I think it really begins to showcase how sports can open up doors that maybe they wouldn't think about for themselves. So now you have this will be an alumni of the university, of the high school, who will be an Ivy League graduate. That says a lot about what that community is doing and how they're supporting their young athletes.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. Myron, what do you think?
And it's at the end of the day, the big picture is you're only going to be an athlete for so long, and getting that education from Ivy League school is tremendous.
Yeah, for sure. I had a great experience there, made lifelong friends, met my wife there, the mother of Trane. And I think I want to clear up a misconception about some of these schools. So Yale doesn't give athletic scholarships, but their endowment is so large that if your family falls underneath a very high income threshold, you go for free. So when I was a little kid, my mom said, she told my dad one time, yeah, Jesse, he seems pretty smart. Maybe he can go to an Ivy League school. And my dad said, we'll never be able to afford that, which was true. But what they didn't know is that once I got accepted, then they gave us a package of financial aid and grants, and so the cost of them was almost nothing. So that really applies to a lot of schools, a lot of these Division III schools out there. Don't think that just because it's a great school you can't afford it. Apply anyway if you're a student, and in all likelihood they want people from our communities. They want people who don't fit the normal profile of an affluent white student. And so if you get accepted, then they make it really possible for you to go. So shout to Brandon Banks. Shout to Cam Lindsey. We have some more interviews. We got some more interviews this time out. So Trane, you were able to rap to Cam just about the undefeated state championship and his journey and him taking the next step to go to Pitt. Long line of quips to Pitt. And then I got a chance to chop it up with his dad, Dwight, who also, in addition to being Cam's dad, is the coach of the Aliquippa girls basketball team. And did y'all see this score recently? Aliquippa girls versus New Brighton? The final margin in favor of course, the Quips was 95-5. They beat him by 90. So I did get an explanation from him, but Myron, have you ever seen someone lose by 90 before?
Yes.
What was that?
Well, I was part of a game where it was a 90-point beatdown. It's like, what do you do? If they're overmatched athletically, at some point, regardless of who's in the game, they're just better than. So, and at our time, when I was in high school, we didn't have the mercy rule. So it was just kept playing. And it's on them to get better. The old saying is, why is it on me to play down? It's your job to get better. So, sorry that you take this beating, but remember that and come back with a vengeance and try to get better.
Would you ease up? Would you take your foot off the gas train if you were up 70 points in the third quarter?
If I'm a coach?
Nah, as a player. Like, you're out there, you're in the game.
I mean,
are you going to take it easy?
Am I going to take it easy? I don't know. It honestly, I think it depends, but I feel like I shouldn't be in the game at that point. I should be out the game.
Yeah, because you don't want to humiliate anyone. But at the same time, why do they get to continue to play as hard as they can to try to get back in the game or to score points? And then you have to try to scale it back. Like Trane said, shouldn't be in the game at that point. But at some point, there's going to be other players in the game that may be better than the team that they have out there.
Rita, from a coaching perspective, or a playing perspective, what do you think about this 90-point butt whipping?
Sitting on the bench that is currently beating teams by 30 or so, you do your best. Your starters go out there. They want to compete. They want to play hard. And then ideally you run a program in a squad that all has that level of intensity so that even when you're 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 personnel get in there, they're keeping some level of intensity. And if not, then that's good for you. Then maybe you have a chance to get back in it. But otherwise, intensity is supposed to be named the game. Competition is supposed to be named the game. Not to embarrass anyone, but just because we play the game to compete. Simple.
Yeah, man. Whoever's in the game, they got to play, right? If I'm in a game like that, I'm gonna try and get my 30 and get out. I like Coletrane how you assume that you are amongst the starters, and so you could put the reserves in. I like that. I'm with it. And if I'm coaching, whoever's in the game, you got to play, right? I can't tell you to. So Coach Dwight Lindsey did describe how he responded to the margin of victory, and check it out. Here's the interview. WIP Appeal.
Appreciate you, Cam, for checking us out today. Giving us some time. Just got a couple quick questions for you. First question I got, what's the most memorable game you've ever played in and what made it so special for you?
Probably our CV game last year. It was just a big game from town to town because we both share the same zip code and they had been beating us the past few years. So it was a huge game, and it was the conference championship. So it was a big time game.
Mm-hmm. So how do you personally balance your academics and athletics? And what advice do you give to other student athletes or just kids who look up to you about that?
I would say just treat the classroom as hard as you treat your sport, because it'll help balance it out itself if you give the max effort in the classroom and just like you do when you play.
Mm-hmm. You know what you want to major in yet at Pitt?
Broadcasting or communications to be a sports commentator.
Got you. That's what's up. My major was communications too. Um, so we know that there were some doubters and naysayers at the beginning of the season, talking about how you guys lost a lot up front, lost a lot of seniors. And like for Aliquippa especially, greatness is expected every single year. It's basically championship or bust. So did that really put a chip on your guys' shoulder at the beginning of the year, hearing that stuff?
Yeah, just hearing stuff like that. I mean, it just we would send it like if we seen they had us losing in the game or something like that. We would just like screenshot it and put it in our team chat and just use that to like, fuel us and motivate us for the week and just to keep that same energy throughout the whole year. So just being kind of doubted this year, it was just more of who we answer the call and like just prove that we shouldn't be doubted.
Right. So who would you say your biggest inspiration is in football, and how have they influenced your playing style?
Um, I would say probably Ray Lewis was like the first real linebacker, or Patrick Lewis were like the first two linebackers that I really like watched and kind of understood what they were doing and like their job. So I would say those two probably motivated me the most.
Got you. So this could be from this year, or just any time you played football. But what's the toughest challenge you faced on the field, and how did you overcome it?
Probably just adjusting to speed, the game because Little League. I mean, if you're the biggest kid out there, you kind of already have some advantages in high school and even at all higher levels. Everybody's the same size and same speed as you. So just practicing with my coaches, learning techniques, and reading my keys and just trusting, my what I know, and just having that, getting adjusted to the speed of the game, and then just going out there and having fun.
Got you. Do you have any pregame rituals or maybe a superstition that you do before every game?
Just say a prayer. Um, to like with the team, we do a team prayer, and then I just say a prayer to myself and say that I'm thankful for everything that I got, and just to be safe throughout the game.
Do you have any go-to music you listen to before a game, and does it help you get you pumped up?
I mean, this year, depending on like who we played, we had like it'd be a song or something. Like when we played McKee's Sport, it was a song that we were like playing the whole week. So I mean, that song kind of put me up, but I mean, any song really. Just whenever it comes game time, whatever. Um, I would say probably Young Boy or something like that would keep me pumped up.
All right. So what's the best piece of advice you've received from a coach, and how has it impacted your approach to the game? I know we all know Coach Mike is a great coach, so I'm sure there's something he said to you or someone else that will stick with you for the rest of your days playing football.
Those pregame speeches always had me ready to run through a wall, but I would say just going out there playing fast and violent would probably be something that he told me every week, and I just went on and did that, and so that was something that was super important to me too.
Got you. Um, so when you're out there, there's a lot of expectations out there, especially for Aliquippa, from whether it be the fans or just spectators, people watching. You guys have such a story program, like greatness is expected from you guys year in and year out. So if you do feel pressure, how do you handle that, or sort of deal with that during these games?
Just enjoying the moment and being there in those situations. I mean, those are games or situations that you kind of like live for and hope you get to have those moments. So just enjoying the situation and then just trying to end up doing whatever we need to do so we can win.
Right. And I got just a couple quick hitters, and then that's all I got for you. But the first one is favorite artist.
NBA young boy probably.
Got you. Favorite pregame meal.
Probably a BMT from Subway.
Dream car.
Hellcat or yeah, Hellcat. Probably Hellcat.
Uh, one thing you can't live without.
My phone. Definitely my
Uh,
phone.
yeah, me too, bro. Describe yourself. Describe yourself in one word.
Determined, I would say.
Favorite video game.
Oh, that's right now that I probably play the most. I would say probably Madden is probably my favorite video game right now.
Hmm. And just shout out to someone who you appreciate and maybe is a little bit underappreciated. It could be one person. It could be a bunch of people. Just some people that you appreciate.
Um, First, I definitely appreciate my parents because they always are at all my games, no matter how cold or hot it is. But probably everybody on our coaching staff, but in specific, I would say Coach Pat because he doesn't get the credit of head coach like Coach Mike does, but he does a lot of stuff for not only me but the whole program to make WIP who it is now.
Got you, bro. Congratulations on a great season. Looking forward to seeing what y'all could do for hoop season. Maybe, go out with a bang again. But I appreciate you, bro. That's all I got for you, man.
Appreciate you. Thank.
WIP Appeal, baby, we back. And we have our first parent guest. But, I really don't want to call you a parent, Mr. Dwight Lindsey, because, you're really much more than that. So I'll just start with a little bit of what I know of you, and I would love to hear more of your perspective on it. But we have Dwight Lindsey on WIP Appeal, Aliquippa's finest, baby. And Mr. Lindsey is the middle school girls basketball coach. He is a former WIP player to the extent that he's got the golden boot in his crib, and we'll talk about what the boot is later. And he's a Facebook rampager, and he also is the father of Cam Lindsey, the 4-star Pitt recruit at linebacker, 14-0 undefeated state champion Cam Lindsey. That Cam Lindsey. So, Dwight, welcome to WIP Appeal, man. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me, Jesse. I appreciate it. Watched a few episodes with you guys, man, and just happy to be a part of what you got going on, man. I like stuff like this, positive stuff, especially with people like you guys, people who look like us. You know what I mean? I love it.
Man, well, that's what we're here for. You've been a supporter since day one, and we really appreciate it. We don't take it for granted. So I'd like to start by asking you just about your journey as a father. We're going to get to your playing career, but one of the purposes of WIP Appeal is really to create a community for parents of athletes to get more information about the journey, to learn from other people in our community about what we did that worked, what we did that didn't work, and things like that. A lot of parents would love to be in your shoes to have a son with multiple Division I offers and going to play at Pitt in a long tradition of Aliquippa players playing at Pitt. So I'd just like to start by asking you to reflect on how you feel as your son Cam has finished his high school football career, capping it off with a 14-0 undefeated state championship victory.
Ooh, said a mouthful there. The idea of him finishing on top is like, the exclamation point at the end of a sentence or the cherry on top of a sundae, however you want to, put that. Because, you go into each season, you're hopeful, especially with the tradition that we have here that, we're going to win, but you just never know how it's going to end. Sometimes, some years we have won state championships. Sometimes we fell a little short. But, going into this year, this particular team, they lost a lot of key players from the year before. They lost 3 linemen that were all-state caliber football players. They lost a great player, DJ Walker, who's playing at Ohio University. He's actually playing in the bowl game tomorrow afternoon. They lost a couple other pieces. They lost some really good football players, and they had to have some young guys this year step up in big-time roles. Like we had two freshmen playing in the offensive line that, just a year ago was playing middle school football. Like, I don't think people understand how big of a jump that is. And those young kids, stepped up and got it done for us. You know what I mean? And we had some other guys who had limited experience play big. And, I think that goes to the testament of Coach Warfield and that staff, man. Those guys coached those boys up. And to the point where you didn't even have much concern about some of those young guys that were playing, because it was like, all right, after a couple games, it's like, all right, their feet are wet, they're ready to go. You know what I mean? And Banks and Cam and Walker and all those guys that's older, Friday Night Tigers, I call them. They let them as the veterans should lead. And 14-0, like I used to tell Cam all the time, everybody don't get a chance to go out on top. You may have a good individual career, but still lose that last game. Like, as far as, in the last 30 years, whenever the PIAA started having state championship football games, we've only had 4 at the time win that state championship. A lot of the other teams, they end up losing. You know what I'm saying? So to be one now the 5th team and be undefeated and do it in 4A with 1A enrollment, like, that's like storybook stuff. You know what I mean? Like, to put that in perspective, Aliquippa only has 7 more boys than Fort Cherry who won the single A championship in WPIL.
Wow, that's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like,
That's wow.
That's a staggering number. So, like, we should be playing them. You know what I'm saying? And we're playing 3 rungs above, like, you know what I mean? And playing well enough to win a championship. Like, I don't.
And won with a score of 60-14.
Right, convincing win. Like, we didn't win with a last-second field goal, miracle touchdown, or anything like that. Like, we were, levels ahead of Dallas this last week, and you know what I mean. And it's been like that for most of the ride. Like, they had a couple close calls throughout the year, and they should. They're playing out of their weight class. You know what I mean? Like, me and some friends were talking, and I said the only thing that can be kind of close to similar to that is maybe like a light heavyweight winning heavyweight in boxing. You know what I mean? Like, I'm imagining
middleweight.
Yeah,
I think,
Floyd or Winky Wright or somebody like that knocking out Buster Douglas or Vander Holyfield or something like that. Like, that's the only thing I can kind of think of. You know what I mean? Like we shouldn't be able to compete at that level against these guys. It's sometimes, you can go one off, and maybe one day you, as a 1A school, might upset a 4A school. But to do it for an entire season convincingly, was it like they averaged 42 points a game and only allowed like 14 for average?
That was amazing, man. And it was a privilege to really, be along for the ride and watch as we're working on this QUIP documentary about how QUIP has produced more Hall of Famers than any other place in the planet. And so I was really happy for the team and for the coaches and for the community, really. It was a beautiful thing to see. So getting to watch Cam play, and obviously he's got the athletic talent, that's a baseline, but there's something else, really to your son that elevates him above his peers, and it's something intangible. What was it that you tried to build in him, other than the footwork and the strength and things like that? But as a parent, what are those other things that you tried to build in him to make him the player that he is today?
Being knowledgeable, be understanding, just basic stuff sometimes. Like, and when he was a little boy, he had no problem sitting on the couch when I'm watching, college or NFL football. And then just like, even then when he was like, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, he's asking questions like, yo, who is that? He's good. You know what I mean? This, that, and the third. So I would say that, the knowledge side of it, he had, and he kind of had a passion or a knack for that early. And it kind of propelled him in a lot of situations. I think it helped him as he got older when he learned to study film, because he didn't mind sitting there watching, football. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's still football. So, like, not only are you learning, but, if you love it, it's still the entertainment part of it too. That it's still going to kind of like pique your interest. You know what I'm saying? Even when you're playing bad teams, you can just still catch on to things and be prepared whenever game time comes. So I think that's the first part. Like, he has a a unique ability to just focus in on what's in front of him or what's the task for the day. You know what I mean? And he took that and kind of ran with that. He really works hard. You know what I mean? He has, and I think this is what this current climate of young Aliquippa quips is, man, these kids hate to lose. Like they don't want to
How is that? Where
be.
does that come from?
I mean, I think it comes from everybody. Like the era before them and the era before them. Like what I mean. Like you lose a game in Aliquippa, man, you get talked about till you win again. like you can't even just do stuff like go to the corner store and get a soda and chips. Like, yo, y'all lost to so and so last night. Oh man, y'all stink. You know what I'm saying? And like and just a testament to that. And I was, looking at some stuff, and man, Cam's high school career, man, those boys went 51-3
Oh, wow.
in
That's
4
amazing.
years of high school football. 51-3, 3 WPIL championships, a WPIL runner-up when they were freshmen, 2 state championships, and a state championship runner-up. So every year they
Man.
played in championship game, and then the program in general is 16 straight years in the WPIL. So there's a lot of young kids, even guys as old as like 30, 31 years old that have played in the championship. If you wore the Aliquippa uniform, at least 3-4 years of your career, like that's saying something.
Yeah, so let's segue over into your experience as a player. What year did you graduate from Quip?
I graduated high school in the year 2000. My years that I played was 1997 through 99. That was when the previous head coach Mike Smianek had took over. We were like we always joke we were his lab rats. Like we were the testing, like to see, what the future of Aliquippa football would look like. Like it started with us. So, and it was me, assistant head coach Rashawn Patrick was on that team. He went on to play at Kent State. Josh Lay, he graduated a year after me. He played at Pitt, played briefly in the NFL. We had some talented guys on our team, and we had some good years. Didn't quite get that championship, but we had some good years. And then I played basketball at Aliquippa too, same years. Well, actually, my senior year in basketball actually finishes in 2000. We won WPIAL in my sophomore year and my senior year, 98 and 2000. And then both years we got a game before the state championship in basketball, fell a little short. So
Yeah, that's something right there. So what advice would you give? There's a lot of parents out there who have young kids, young sons playing football, and they want to develop them into to their fullest potential. And what advice do you have for parents out there who are earlier on in their journey in middle school or high school, and they have sons who play football? What are some of your experiences or recommendations that can help those other parents on their journey?
I would say first, as watching your kid or seeing where their talent level is, you know your kid. So the figure out what level of talent they're on. And then from that, put them in camps, put them in drills, get them trainers, do whatever it is that you got to do to make it to where the kid is getting the most out of their athleticism, maximizing their potential and all. Because everybody's not going to be a D1 prospect, but that doesn't mean they can't go D2 or D3 or NAIA or whatever and still, go to school, get yourself a good quality education, and everything that happens after that happens. You know what I mean? Like, there's more than just the NFL now. There's XFL. There's arena ball. There is the is it the USFL that they brought back? So there's opportunities outside of the NFL for kids to still go out there, play the game they love, and still make some money and do some some cool stuff.
And let's put them
I
up
would,
on a bit of game about D2 and D3 real quick, if I may, because D2 free education, you know what I'm
yes,
saying, free college, and then D3. What a lot of parents don't know is that D3 doesn't have athletic scholarships, but a lot of those schools have money, and
yeah,
so if you get recruited to go to Division 3 school, likely is not that full financial aid package is just the same thing as an
yeah,
athletic scholarship, and the
absolutely,
Division 3 school academics are up there, man.
yeah,
So I've seen a lot of parents get caught up and kids too, D1, D1, D1. Man, there's some real ballers out there in D2, and any
Oh
way you
yeah.
slice it, you can go to college and have a great experience, play for free or practically free, regardless of the numeral after the letter D.
Yeah, absolutely. I've played against some guys who played D2 ball that played in NFL. Guy named Reggie Wells, he went to South Park. I played against him in high school basketball. Really good basketball player. Didn't even play high school football till his last year. Then had some opportunities, went and played at Clarion, and he played, I think, 9 or 10 years in the NFL. Played in the Super
Yeah,
Bowl
man.
for the Cardinals against the Steelers.
Wow. Wow.
You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
starting on the offensive line against the Steelers
Wow.
in the Super Bowl.
Let me ask you, you're also a coach. So you coach the girls' middle school team in Aliquippa, is that correct?
Yep, and varsity.
And
Or
varsity. Okay.
yeah, we're 3-0 varsity. We
Wait. You coach the high school varsity?
yeah.
Okay, so let me talk let me talk about this game. What was the score of the game the other night? My man. Please just tell me this. Tell me the opponent first. Who were you playing?
We played New Brighton.
Okay. And what was the
down
final
road
score?
here.
What was the final score?
95-5. Like
95-5. What happened?
It's crazy. Like they're rebuilding. They're struggling. They're a struggling program right now. Like coaches,
But still,
dude,
struggling
man.
is like 60 to 22. You know, struggling is 70 to 19. I mean, what happened?
Well, we came out. We pressed for the first quarter. Jumped out, and it was 40-2 at the end of the first quarter.
It was a layup.
And yeah, and that's our girls didn't. Man, I'm waiting for the huddle to come back with all the stats because I'm guaranteeing we had to shoot about 85% from the field today or last night. And in the second quarter, I just played half court, man.
Right?
At
You
the
didn't
half,
run it up?
it was 62-2 at the half or something like that. And the whole second half, I played 2-3 zone and told my girls to let them shoot. They just couldn't. Then we made everything, and they couldn't buy a bucket. Like they had good opportunities, the shots just wasn't falling. You know what I mean? I pulled my starters toward the end of the third quarter. Like I had my JV players play because we're not going to have a lot of JV games because girls basketball the numbers are down. So and I'm not going to tell those girls who work hard and practice every day not to shoot, not to play hard, not to do any of that. Like I played everything in the 2-3 zone. Like the last quarter, I had 4 ninth graders and a 10th grader in the game.
Wow.
So
okay.
Like, the girls working hard, and I told them, I was like, you continue to play hard. Whatever happens, happens. If people want to say stuff, I'll take that. Y'all don't worry about that. You know what I mean? Y'all just play as hard as y'all can. Like I said, I talked with New Brighton's coach. He's a good dude. He was, he wasn't mad at all. He, what I mean? Even before the game, he was like, we're rebuilding. We're trying to get something going here. He was like, man, don't adjust your plan, do what you're gonna do. And I still had told him like, hey, we're gonna still, because we hadn't played in 2 weeks. We opened up the December 2nd and 3rd. We played 2 games. We were supposed to play on the 7th, but that was the same day as the state championship football game, so we pushed that game back. So we haven't played in about 10 days. So the girls, they were ready to play. You know what I'm saying? Like, so with that being said, their intensity, their energy that was there, and they played as hard. Like, I'm just proud with the effort. You play hard, you never know, what I mean? You always know you'll have a chance. You know what I'm saying? That's all you want. You play hard, you leave it out there, everything else will, fall where it may fall.
So let me ask you, you're a Black coach in the WIP Appeal. And it seems to me that the challenge for Black coaches in the WIP Appeal is different. What is it like being a Black coach in the WIP Appeal, and what do you think the challenges are in that position?
I'll give you an example. Just last night's game. Like, people see the score, they just assume we were running up the score. And then I'm like, if you go to the game, you would see that it was the farthest from the truth. Like, New Brighton's coach had no issues whatsoever. Like I say, he's a good dude. I got nothing but love for him. But those type of things, because
so it's like stereotypes and assumptions.
Yep. That's one thing. Like, people just assume Aliquippa, black dude coaching, and what they see maybe on TV as far as a stereotype of black people in general. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, the internet chatter and all that stuff helps it pushes that narrative one way or the other, and it's probably sometimes the furthest from the truth. Also, with that, and not necessarily me, but I see other coaches, they don't get the support within their school district or communities as much. I just know of some coaches who say, man, they do this, that, and the third, and that's it. But this other coach who does this sport gets, you know what I mean? And sometimes, you know, like that kind of breaks your heart because sometimes you get to know some of these coaches, some of these other dudes, and not just basketball, all sports. And for them to get treated differently because of certain situations, or maybe even because of the color of their skin, but it's kind of hidden. It's kind of, you know, upsetting. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, we see that in the pros. We see that in major college sports as well. Like, some black coaches don't get the opportunities that, you know, other coaches get, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, like the Rooney rule's in place for a reason, because minorities weren't getting interviews, weren't even getting opportunities, weren't even getting calls. You know what I mean? Like, I would love to see that be put in college and in high school sports, because there's some qualified dudes and ladies out here that could get the job done if given the proper opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you don't always get that or see that. Like, so I hope for that to happen. I know that, you know what I mean, like I said, just talking with some other coaches around the area and some of the things that they have to go through, it stinks for them, because, you know, they have the opportunity to teach these kids, to coach these kids, to mold these kids into better athletes, no matter what the sport is, and not given all those resources or access to things to do that. Is kind of upsetting when you hear that story. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Well, thank you for speaking on that. You know, that's one of the themes that we try to dive into on WIP Appeal, is really to advocate for just equal opportunity for everybody. You know, I think it's
Right.
hard a lot of times. I think people don't realize, who are in positions of hiring and choosing jobs, how much relationships and who they're comfortable with plays into these type of decisions. And a lot of times people may think that they're considering all the candidates and they're making an unbiased decision, when really there's an unconscious comfort level, you know, or familiarity, or
Yeah.
the names at the top of the list are people within our social circle. So it's good to see. I think that things in general, including in the WIPIAL, are on the right track. I think coaches such as you and Coach Warfield over there at Aliquippa, with the success that you're having, are proving that there's certainly the ability is there. So I'm hopeful that things will improve. So the last thing I want to talk to you about, man. So here at WIP Appeal, one of the things that I think we enjoy is that there's much more to sports than the game itself. There's a whole culture around it. And in this 50th year of hip hop, I've been talking about and reflecting on how much we made sneakers hot, and Nike owes reparations to us for making the sneakers hot. You are
Absolutely.
someone who has been seen with some fire on the feet from time to time. So what are you wearing today? What's the sneaker of the day for you? And I want to know your sneaker of the day for you. And then I want to know your favorite all-time shoe. What are we talking about?
Today I actually just had slid on a Air Jordan 1. It's
A
an
little
all
something.
white. Yeah, a little white. It's a kind of match this hoodie with a little bit of red in it. It's
Yeah.
actually, if I'm being truthful, it's actually Cam's shoe.
What size do y'all wear? Y'all wear the same size?
Yeah, I wear 12. He wears pretty much a 12, a 13 in some shoes. He's got like those long, skinny feet. I got fat feet. So
Who steals whose shoes more? Does he jack yours, or do you take his?
he gets me the most. Like I got a lot more than he does. So I tell him, as long as it's shoes that I've worn before, go ahead, knock yourself out. I don't care.
Don't open up no
But
new boxes though.
yeah, nothing untouched, you know. And then, you know, he'll say sometimes like, "Hey, did you wear these yet?" And I have to go look. I'll be like, "Nah, I haven't worn them. You got to put those ones back." You know what I mean? I still got about 10 or 12 pairs that's still dead stock I haven't worn yet.
Oh
So
man, that's what's up, man. I got two sons with the same size shoe as me, so I'm really in trouble. Although
oh man.
my flavor is a little quirky. One time, uh, because I'm old enough to have worn all these shoes when they originally came out. So we was out somewhere one time with the sons. I was like, yeah, see, everybody got the shoes you got on. Nobody got the shoes here that I got on. And then my son Coletrane was like, Dad, nobody wants the shoes that you have on. So what's your all-time favorite shoe, though? I saw you with a pair of Adidas on the other day, the top 10s. That's dope. Shake it up a little bit. I'm betting that it's going to be a Nike, though. New Balance has got a lot of heat right now. They're coming up. Puma, they're in and out. But what is your all-time favorite, most classic, most fire sneaker of your life?
The shoe that I say turned me into a sneakerhead is the Air Jordan 11 Concord. The first ones with the patent leather, the white with the black patent leather. Like, when I seen those shoes, I lost my mind. Like, I seen it, I think it was in a Sorts magazine or some type of rap magazine. It was picture of the shoe dropping whenever the date was. And I was like, oh, I gotta have these. Like, I was raking leaves, doing all I could to stack my money up. And then, ironically, my dad, at the time he was living in Maryland, he came in for that weekend. I was like, look, I got this. I need this much more to help me get these shoes. And I remember at the time, the shoe at the time was $125. He couldn't believe it. I'm like, yo, I got most of it. Just give me a little bit. And then you got to take me to the mall to find the shoes. So
Beaver Valley Mall?
Yeah, back in the day when they had 4 sneaker stores back then. Wow. And I went to all 4, none of them in my size. So then we go to the Dick's. I think it was in Cranberry. We tried to go there, not in my size. And I'm just heartbroken. And it ain't like it is now where you can get a shoe resale. You might have to pay a little bit more. None of that was going on back then. Then I get the East Bay magazine, and then I try to get my
the East Bay catalog.
Yeah. Yes. I'd here, granddad, I got the money. Just can you pay for it with your credit card? And then he tried to do that for me, and there was no more in my size then. I was just like, I gotta get that shoe. I was like, when I get grown, if it ever come back out, I gotta get that shoe. You know what I mean? And every time it comes out, they restocked, they reissued it this past weekend. I didn't get it yet, but I got a connector too, so I'll be able to get it somewhere down the line. So.
Yeah, I was over in Amber's the other day. They got a store over in Amber's that got some heat up in there. Yeah, they doing some things. My man
Marco, he's a good dude, man. Him and his boy Johnny, they got a good spot over there. I've been over there a couple of times. I haven't been there in probably about a good year or so. I did say I'm gonna have to go check them out.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. Well, listen, man, Dwight Lindsey, we appreciate you. We appreciate the work you do in your community, for the young women who you coach, for just the vibe and the positive energy that you have out. Congratulations on all the success for your son. We can't wait to see him suit up at Pitt. And thank you for joining us here on WIP Appeal, man.
Man, you're welcome, man. I'm happy to be a part of it. Happy to help push the culture. Can I just say one little thing? Any parents that's watching this, it don't matter if you're in Aliquippa, don't matter if you're in Pittsburgh. If you need help with trying to get your kid noticed or reach out to some camps or some clinics, don't hesitate to hit me. I'll help you.
Man, that's amazing. Appreciate you, man. Peace out.
My man, much love. Thank you.
We love the interviews here at WIP Appeal, and we also love talking basketball. Myron, what's wrong with your man Draymond Green? Currently on suspension for Wu-tanging somebody in the side of the head.
One of our previous episodes.
I was not ready for the term Wu-tang. I wasn't.
On one of our previous episodes, we talked about him and his antics, and it's getting old. Like Trane said, his game only resonates with the Warriors. He can't do that anywhere else. His game doesn't translate on any other team in the league. And now it's getting to the point where his antics, they don't even hold any weight.
I just think indefinitely is a very long time. Has anyone ever been suspended indefinitely from the league?
Great question. Not with those words, but they have put conditions on people to return. Yes. So they have, when Vernon Maxwell, shout out to my OGs, Mad Max with the Rockets, went in the crowd and busted somebody up.
Oh, so it's been a while.
Then they said, his suspension said at least X amount of games.
Right.
Okay.
When Dennis Rodman kicked the cameraman, his suspension was at least X amount of games.
Right.
But indefinitely means
That's a statement. That's a statement.
what do you think they're trying to say with that statement?
Are they trying to make him jump through hoops to show he's had a change of heart, change of character, that he's taking this seriously, and they want to see him act differently? I'm not sure, but I think it says a lot that the term indefinitely was used. Obviously, I want to get into any type of projection of what that might mean financially for him, but I think that's on purpose. I think it's intentional, and I would like to hear more about the thought process behind it.
Is it okay though for the league to be sort of big brothering him, like sunning him in this manner, like we're gonna it's a little paternalistic, like we know better than you what's good for you, we're gonna force you to get counseling. What do you think about that vibe with the league sunning him like that?
Well, I don't agree with forcing him into counseling. One, he don't have mental issues. You don't
have mental issues.
He doesn't have mental issues. He knows exactly what he's doing.
He got some impulse control issues.
No, he don't have no anger management issues. He's just out of control in how he plays the game. So you don't need counseling. That's not going to fix it. You think because he gets 8 weeks of counseling, he's going to come back and not do the same antics that he's been doing for 10 years?
Well, I think that's the part about, them wanting him to take it serious, because as an adult, you have to want to participate. You have to want to change. So I think maybe that's part of it, but you also can't force the man to want to change. You're going to let him play as he's kind of played, or I don't know what the or is on the other end of that spectrum.
And you've had a couple guys banned from the league. Michael Ray Richardson was banned from the league. Roy Tarpley was banned from the league. So you can get back in and be reinstated. But, he's borderline asking to be banned for his antics because he's a repetitive abuser of bad fouls and antics.
Of opponents. Man, Coletrane, you're a big Warriors fan, right? So what do you think?
Coletrane loving it.
I want to give a shout to my cousin Gabe, though. He's from the Bay, and the biggest Warriors fan, and even cousin Gabe, I got the text that came in that said, the run is over, break up the squad, everyone's on the table except Steph. I was like, wow, when cousin Gabe gives up on the squad, it's real.
Everybody's on the table?
He said everybody, even Clay. I was like, nah, don't do Clay like that.
Dang.
Man, Clay could go too.
Why can Clay go?
Clay can go. Clay ain't, he ain't the same Clay.
He's not, but everything he gave, he's, just.
Nah, I get it, but he ain't the same Clay. And Clay's gonna wanna. He's not gonna wanna just shrink into some role like he, So
Get rid of Draymond, Chris Paul. They'll be all right.
Get rid of Draymond and Chris Paul?
Yes.
Why you throw Chris Paul?
I was like, Chris Paul do
Why he
nothing.
catches strike?
Chris Paul do nothing to you.
Because he's a baby version of Draymond. He just hides it a little bit better. That's all.
So you're not a Chris
It's
Paul
on
fan.
tape. I'm not a great player, though. Great player. I ain't questioning his ability.
What are you
his game can
questioning?
go. His antics are like Draymond's. He just doesn't get called out as often. There's all kind of evidence. You looking over here like, I don't know. We give YouTube it.
I'm just taking
Chris
a peek
Paul's
at you.
worst moments.
I'm just taking a peek at you.
He's had a few.
Taking a peek
He's
at
had
you,
a few.
that's cool.
So all of this, this, whatever the opposite of admiration is, going to Draymond and everything, Myron. But who's a player who has a similar? Draymond's not hugely skilled. He's very smart, but he gets by with an edge. Right, so in basketball, who are some players that you've seen who aren't doing all the flashy, glamorous scoring and everything, but still are as impactful on winning as Draymond? Who are some players you actually like now or in the past who are in that sort of same zone as Draymond?
I mean, you got to definitely start with Rodman. All his antics, and he was kicked out. I don't know if he ever got a indefinite suspension, but absolutely had antics for all of his years in the league. I would say Ron Artest is probably comparable to Draymond in that way. but he didn't really get involved with antics. So,
Bro, he went in the stands and
well, that
punched
was
a
a
couple
fight.
fans in
That's
the
totally
face.
different. That ain't antics over the course of his career, doing things all the time. That's a one-time incident of what happened, and he paid the price dearly. He got suspended for 50 games
He did.
that year. So, for sure, that was the wrong thing to do. But you didn't say every other week that Ron Artest was going, choking a guy, kicking a guy in the groin, body slamming him, suplexing him, doing all those great wrestling moves.
Yeah.
Go to the WWF if you want to do that, Draymond.
Man, the Warriors might be regretting putting him on that new deal. Man, they just signed him to a new 4-year deal. So they stuck with him.
Figure something out then.
They stuck with him.
Trade him.
Is the Warriors run over Coletrane?
Over.
So who's next then? Who's next? Who's run toward the top of the league now is starting? Like, who's next, and who do you like as a squad in the NBA?
Obviously the Nuggets. I think. They're just consistent. They won last year, right?
Sure did.
Yeah.
Got first one.
Is Jokic the best player in the world right now?
He is right now, I'd say.
Wow. Oh, man.
He's the best,
I'm shocked.
he's the
shot
best
for-
player in the world right now.
That's
Yes,
right.
he's the best
Wow.
player in the world right now. Him and Giannis are like, Giannis is very close number 2 right now, in my opinion. But we'll see come playoff time who's,
Yep. Is Jokic the best player in the world?
I'm not 100% in agreement with that. I like Tatum. For sure, Giannis has to be considered one of the top 2 or 3. And your boy over there, LeBron, is still getting it done like a champion. As much as I don't really care for LeBron, he's still getting it done as old as he is at this point in his career.
That's impactful.
I saw them play. I saw the Lakers play. I can't remember who was against, but AD and D'Angelo were both out. So they're down 2 starters. And LeBron, number one, he was playing. His energy level was super high. And his just ability to dissect the game, the passes he was making, he's still drawing double teams. He's 39 years old, drawing doubles, hitting, and the passes aren't over here or over here. They're like, wow. It's just, it's amazing
Precision.
what he's doing. I got my man KG said, I know, right? And he said, as only KG would say, so I'm going to leave out the profanity, that LeBron is doing something we've never seen before.
Facts.
Never seen before.
That's
So
a fact.
it's pretty amazing. Who's the best player in the world to you? Best basketball player in the world?
I mean, I think anytime you have someone on the throne, you got to dethrone them. And I think Joker played last year in a way that said he was the best. And I respect what LeBron's doing right now, especially at his age. And he's got to come reclaim that top dog status, just in the sense of in the league, getting it done, getting the championship. But he's obviously still one of the best, most talented guys around.
So are we saying Jokic is the best because he was MVP and his team won?
Has to do, to me, it
Points
has
per
to
game,
do with
rebounds.
that, but it also has to do just with his, just like performance otherwise, like that has to do with it. He got a championship, Finals MVP. He won regular season MVP.
No, they didn't. They didn't give it to him because they were mad.
Embiid.
He had won it 2 times before.
Yeah.
And basically
Politics.
Yeah, and I think that's a media award.
Politics.
And I think a lot of the media was like,
Politics.
yeah, we not going to give this white dude from Serbia another 3rd straight MVP. Like, we got to give it to somebody else.
So
But he be
then
dogging folks.
you take it that way, then when you start talking about the GOAT, then you talk about MJ and how he was the MVP. How many times? How many times did he win the championship? He was MVP of the playoffs. How many times? How many times he was an all-star? So when you start talking GOAT and comparing that way, now you got a different conversation about LeBron being the quote-unquote GOAT.
For me personally, I think that in the GOAT argument, best basketball player of all time, I put lesser emphasis on awards that are based off of other people's opinion. I base it more on numbers, championships, what you're doing. Because LeBron in 2018, LeBron could have easily won MVP. LeBron in 2018, who won MVP? Harden did. Harden was averaging 35.
Who won the championship
Warriors.
in 2018 that
Yeah.
you're talking about
But-
his best year?
Yeah, well, I don't know if that was his best year. That was one of his best years. And he had probably the most dominant individual playoff run ever that year. Dragged that team on his back to the finals. They were not dragged his team on his back to the finals. If you break it down, I could pull it up right now.
And pull up MJ.
I'm gonna pull up his playoff jump. He had more playoff buzzer beaters in 2018 than MJ did in his entire career.
That means your team is close to losing.
I'm just saying. But everyone wants to sit here and say, "Oh, Bron's not clutch." The whole Bron's not clutch narrative. Statistically, LeBron is more clutch than Michael Jordan.
No, he's not.
He is. Statistically, he's made more buzzer beaters and shoots a higher percentage. In the final last minute of the game, he's more clutch.
Coletrane has been preparing for this moment.
I'd have to see those facts.
All my life.
Hold on. I'll pull it up.
Hold on.
And we talked about the last episode in comparing LeBron. He should be more comparable to Magic. I sent you some of the information. Did you look at it?
I did look at it.
Did you compare the numbers?
I did.
And the statistics of it?
I did.
Okay.
Larry Bird's numbers are amazing. That was my conclusion.
LeBron James, 2018 playoffs. These are just some of his games.
Oh, run it.
Okay.
51 points, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 60% from the field.
One game.
46 points.
Playoffs.
One game in the playoffs. 46 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists, 71% from the field. 46 points, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, 52%. 45 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, 64%. 44 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 58% from the field. 44 points, 5 boards, 3 assists, 61% from the field. 43 points, 8 rebounds, 14 assists, 68%.
And they won the title that year?
No.
Oh, run off MJ's from his title year, because when he had those numbers, they won.
I'm just saying.
They didn't finish runner-up. They didn't lose in the conference finals.
I'm just saying.
MJ won, averaging 45 a game for a series.
I'm just saying, man.
Dominant performance.
Hey, I'll break it down like this. Michael Jordan has played in a playoff. He never lost a championship. Right. He played in the finals and averaged a much lesser stat line than LeBron James and won the finals. LeBron James averaged 30-something,
30, 10, and 10.
30, 10, and 10 and lost. So how are you going to knock
Jordan
it? Jordan
averaged 30 for his career regular season.
No, but I'm just hear me out. My point that I'm trying to make is that LeBron statistically, he outperformed Michael Jordan in the finals, but still lost. So you can't knock him because he played better than him. His team wasn't as good.
That's debatable, Trane.
He played against
you call his
Michael
stats,
Jordan.
The
squad that Jordan beat for the title was Karl Malone in them. Right, and John Stockton. Those are the best 2 players. The squad that
old broken down Karl Malone.
Right.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Called the man broken down.
As Jordan, he played against his peers at the same time.
The squad that
against
LeBron
Gary
lost
Payton and
to.
those guys.
The squad that LeBron lost to was Steph, Clay, Draymond, and
Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant.
What team has Michael Jordan played in the finals that is better than that team?
You got Hakeem Olajuwon with Clyde Drexler, Kenny Smith when they beat the Rockets.
Did they beat them?
You're saying
Absolutely.
That team's better than the 2018 Warriors?
You got Hakeem. Tell me what center's better than Hakeem.
Did you say Kenny Smith?
Absolutely.
You say
Kenny the Jet.
Absolutely.
Kenny the Jet.
I love Kenny
Come
Smith.
on,
I love
now.
Kenny Smith.
Come
but he
on,
doesn't
now.
really-
Absolutely. Drexler.
Yeah.
Drexler.
Yeah.
You're not going wrong with Hakeem.
Is Clyde Drexler
and
a top 50 player ever?
Absolutely.
No.
Top 50
Absolutely he
Okay,
is.
so we have Steph Curry.
He's on the list.
We have Steph Curry, arguably the greatest point guard of all time. We have Kevin Durant, probably the greatest scorer of all time.
You're afraid to say the greatest small forward or power forward.
He's not the greatest, but the greatest scorer of all time. He's up there. He's up there. Easily.
That team that LeBron lost to. And then Clay,
And
one of the greatest shooters.
One of the greatest shooters of all time.
And they stacked it that way on purpose.
And
it was
Draymond.
stacked. It was
a crazy team.
It was a little disgusting.
I don't know if there's a
intentional.
better.
It was a
I
little
don't know if there's a
disgusting.
better team.
Didn't they
than
have
that.
DeMarcus Cousins off the bench or something crazy like
he
that?
was hurt.
You know,
he was hurt one of those years.
Nah.
So you gotta, you know what I'm saying? All I'm saying, moral of the story is that I personally base it more off statistics, championships, things that are concrete, whereas media can be biased.
Oh, for sure they
Media
can.
is biased.
Media is biased.
And you got people who who don't even play the game who are voting and saying,
Absolutely.
"Oh, I want to give this
And for
dude
sure,
MVP."
there's many years that Jordan didn't get it that he could have got it. And same with LeBron. Same with
fact.
Kobe. Same with Shaq. You can name forever guys that didn't get it when they should have or could have.
Right,
That's like that dominance factor. Like, oh, you're so dominant that anyone else that comes close, we're going to give it up basically to the second guy because we already know what you're capable of.
Which I think was Joker last year. It was just, and there was, I honestly think, well, I won't even talk about anybody else, but just for me, before, last year was really, the playoffs was the first time I really watched him
That's a fact.
do what he does.
And it's
And so
nasty.
before that, when it came to the MVP, I was like, man, we can't, like, I was like, it was just like, I couldn't really put it together in my head. Brandon Banks, the term for that at Yale is cognitive dissonance. But I couldn't really figure out how he is the best player. I was like, no, he can't be MVP. Like, there's no way it's possible. And then I watched him. But I watched him go to work, and nobody
efficient.
He was. I mean, what? How do you want it?
Crafty.
What passing? Like tremendous passing. Bodying people down in the post. There's no answer for that dude right now. So gotta give it to
who
him,
he would
man.
be if he was a boxer? Fury. That's exactly who he would be.
Okay, good comparison. Yeah, I like that. So, well, this has been another sub episode of the GOAT Chronicles, Myron versus Trane.
Oh my!
Trane came with that heat today, Myron. Next episode, you're gonna have to come with some research.
No worries.
Some
I can't
Wikipedia.
No worries.
Something. And I don't mean don't be putting stuff in the chat, in the WIP Appeal chat, like screenshots in the chat. Like that don't count, man. You know what I mean? You got to come to
It's
the
still
show
the facts.
with your
It's still the facts.
you got to come, you got to do it in the game.
Oh, ain't that how it
Okay,
goes?
so it's on you.
Easy enough.
Trane learn well from the
Easy
media.
enough.
So this has been another episode of the GOAT Chronicles, Myron versus Trane.
Y'all must don't know what I do.
Oh,
He's waiting.
Lord.
Y'all must not know what I do. I keep information. Y'all must not know
Lord.
what I do.
Oh Lord!
Well, it's on and popping.
It's the Bible look for me.
It's on and
Yo,
popping.
I just had flashbacks to grandma's crib.
He went into the stacks of the library
big
and came
archives.
out with the Stowe Rocks Herald clippings from 1934. All right. Yeah. Is that on the internet? Was there internet?
It was definitely on the typewriter.
Nah, I like it, man. That's what's up. So, Coach Rita,
Yours.
something recently came to your attention down in the state of Louisiana.
The great state.
Coach Brianna O'Connor of Opelousas High School, a black woman, was fired from her job. And the reason that she was fired, apparently, was that her outfits were inappropriate. What did they say? What is the term that they use?
Yeah, they said that the sideline's not a fashion show, which I thought was interesting. So she was fired or let go in January, so mid-basketball season. But they don't really specify for what and why. But the team was talented, 18-4 start, which I think by any standards is a strong
Solid.
performance, right? She's won some championships. She's played at the next level. So to be let go and for her outfits to even be referenced at all, it's one thing if you stepping out of line, you treating people's kids wrong, but outfit's not being up to code when she's buttoned up. She's had on, she's covered. She's got pants on. She's got dress pants. Got repping her Greek organization. What's the problem? As a woman on the sideline, you want to be someone that girls look up to, and whether that's fashion is debatable, but you want to put yourself together where it's like, oh yeah, I came and I meant business. What's the problem?
Yeah, when I looked at the Googles, there was no cleavage,
Right.
There was no skin exposed,
Right.
Her outfits were fitting,
Right.
so that leads you to believe that as a black woman being penalized for being a black woman on the sidelines, whereas if black or white, if I'm skinny and my clothes are loose, is that a problem? So it might have been a pretext. They might have just wanted to get rid of her, but I didn't find her clothes inappropriate at all, especially since if you're talking about it's not a fashion show and the top two, let's talk about the top two coaches in the women's college game right now.
Mulkey.
So, and I'm going to go with number 2 and then number 1.
Okay.
Let's talk about Mulkey first. I mean, her outfits are wild.
Outrageous.
Which is funny because it's in the same state.
Same state.
That's even funnier about
it.
Great
Same
irony
state.
there.
And Mulkey came in with her feather boas and her spangles, looking like she's about to be a Las Vegas review performance. And then she won the chip and gave him a championship.
Big chip.
Like it's part of her personality.
And there was nothing inappropriate about her gear.
Not at all.
Nothing.
It was entertaining.
Right.
It's subjective. Fashion's subjective. If I'm covered, what's the problem? And I would argue, of the men amongst us, who out here has ever had to face some commentary about what they had on the sideline?
Right.
So that's the double standard that we need to talk about. But a woman is judged on her clothing when a man isn't.
Not a win or a loss. Not how she conducts herself. Not the questions she's answering in the post conference. Nothing. But what her outfits look like is the issue. It says more about her ability than her coaching.
Great point. Number 1 best dressed coach, male or female, in America, Dawn Staley. Talk about it. Have you seen what she wears? She got the Louis jackets, the Balenciaga. I don't even know the names of these things.
But Dawn be chilling.
Yes.
Which I respect. You big time. You got up there and you can stand on business. Then she's chilling. But I'm rocking with Sid Carter. Coach Carter, outfits, mwah.
Like, describe, what does she got on? I'm not up on it.
She got boots, she got 2-piece, she got dresses. She really hit you with all types of flavors. So I think for me, Dawn's like the streetwear fashion. I'm digging it. She's like, I'm here and I'm gonna do whatever I want. Got my kicks on one day, might have the dress pants on another day. Hair's gonna be laid, and then Sid Carter's gonna give you like the more glamish, girly, fashion forward nails. Might have the matching bag. However she's giving it to you, but. I think it's nice to have some diversity on the sideline as well.
I love it. That's what it is. WIP Appeal, y'all.
Peace.